Anyway.
اوكي. دونك نبداو على بركة الله. دونك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. دونك بادئ البدء أود أن أرحب بالأساتذة المشاركين في النقاش، أستاذ رامي عبد الكافي مناقش من معهد البنك الإسلامي، والأستاذ عادل الزرفي من جامعة محمد الأول بوجدة. مرحبا. وأستاذ عادل الفقير من جامعة شيفيلد، الذي هو خريج مختبرنا. وكافة الأساتذة الذين انضموا إلينا، وجميع الطلبة الباحثين الذين هم مركز اهتمامنا بطبيعة الحال. سنفتح المجال لطالب يحيى حنين، هو طالب باحث بمختبر الهندسة المالية الإسلامية بالمدرسة المحمدية للمهندسين. هو جد متقدم في بحثه، وهو في المرحلة الأخيرة، بحثه تحت إشراف، تحت تقدير مزدوج الأستاذ المحترم يونس الحريشي من المعهد العالي للتجارة وإدارة المقاولات وعبد ربه. لم يبقى لي إلا أن نعطي الكلمة للطالب حنين. تفضل أسي حنين.
Good morning, everyone. Did you see my slide?
Go on. Yes.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. First of all, let me thank you all for coming here today. My name is YAHYA HANINE from Mohammed V University in Rabat. I'm a PhD student and working under the guidance of Professor Mohammed Taqiyout and Yunus al-Harishi. What I would like to present to you today is an empirical research about using Kano analysis for prioritizing the customer's preferences over Islamic bank system. This is the outline of my talk. I will begin with the introduction, next model description, then results, finally conclusion. Why such study? In this study, we try to provide a prioritizing of customer preferences in Islamic banking system and analyzing potential opportunities for improvement. Why Kano analysis? To save time and money, to identify priorities areas, to group your best features, and increase customer satisfaction. The Kano analysis model was published by Dr. Norayaki Kano, Professor of Quality Management at Kano University. The Kano 5 emotional response type must be the attribute falling in this category consists of basic criteria of a product. Science customers will be extremely dissatisfied if attributes are not fulfilled. On the other hand, their fulfillment does not significantly influence satisfaction level since the customers take them for granted. For one-dimensional features, this category means that an attribute functional presence will proportionally increase customer satisfaction, while its dysfunctional absence will reversely decrease satisfaction level. Concurrently, obviously, this type of opportunities consolidate customer loyalty for companies. For the attractiveness features, the attributes are acted as a weapon to differentiate companies from their competitors, since their fulfillment generates absolutely satisfaction. By contrast, customer does not feel dissatisfied when they are not fulfilled. In the indifferent features, this category means that attribute does not contribute to customer satisfaction at all, no matter when they are present or absent in a product. In reverse features, the attribute found in this category should be removed from a product because its functional presence will decrease customer satisfaction and vice versa. This is the existing work of bank selection criteria. This is a summary of a literature. Model description. As indicated by this figure, Kano's model provides a two-dimensional way to characterize the concept of non-symmetric customer perception of two scenarios: functional presence, which means positive delight, and dysfunctional absence, which means negative disgust. Based on Kano Questionnaire, as you see here in this table, an invested respondent needs to select one statement among linguistic terms such as like, must be, neutral, live with this, dislike, separately for both functional and dysfunctional scenarios. Thereafter, based on this table, there is a 25 possible combination of assessments could be classified into one of the following Kano categories, including attractive, one-dimensional, must be, indifferent, reverse, etc. You can see here a formula for calculating satisfaction increment index and dissatisfaction decrement index. Let's now move on to the results. Well, once all elevators complete their surveys on bank selection criteria attribute, the results are displayed in the following tables. As you see here, the whole sample was indifferent to attribute 16 and 17. There is represent particular appearance of personal and particular appearance to the bank. On the other hand, the whole sample considered 139 attributes as a must be quality in a bank. As for the one-dimensional quality, considered the whole sample that selected attribute 2, 4, 5, 6, etc. Here we measure the satisfaction increasing index by the formula mentioned above. Here, as you can see, attributes 4 and 5 and 6, etc. are the attributes with significant effect on customer satisfaction. Here, as you can see, attribute 1 and 19 factors significantly decreasing customer dissatisfaction, and the others attributes are a factor not significantly decreasing the customer dissatisfaction. Well, our findings show that Islamic banking attributes are required by customers in selecting an Islamic bank as opposed to a conventional bank. However, this findings show that the Islamic attributes in Islamic bank selection, like free interest rate, bills, contracts, and staff knowledge of Islamic banking, do not give an Islamic banks an edge when it comes to customers' bank selection. This means that to improve customers' attractiveness, Islamic banks need to consider other factors in the same way that conventional banks do. The significance of bank selection criteria may change from country to another depending on the specific cultural, economic, and political condition. Well, finally, I would like to highlight the main advantage of this approach. In this study, we try to provide a prioritization of customer preferences in Islamic banking system. Customer preferences are identified and classified according to their impact on customer satisfaction. Satisfaction increase degree is calculated as the satisfaction degree index is calculated. Well, thank you for your attention.
شكرا سي يحيى. نفتحوا المجال للأسئلة والنقاش. شرفنا بمعرفة السي الأستاذ عادل الزرفي.
أهلا وسهلا.
مرحبا بك.
وأنا أسعد، شكرا لكم.
إنها مناسبة جليلة للتعرف على أساتذة يهتمون بنفس الموضوع. ونعطيك الكلمة إبداء الرأي حول هذا العرض.
إذا تكون البداية مني. ياك الدكتور تقيوت؟
لا بغيتي ماشي.
إن شاء الله. مرحبا على الراس والعين.
الله يليك.
دونك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله جميعا. I'm really very happy to participate with you in this discussion for this paper. But first of all, the organizing committee demand from me to present maybe firstly the remarks and the comments of Dr. الكافي from Development Islamic Bank. I think he apologized for being with us. So I will begin with his comments, and after I will present my comments to the student. So the voice is clear? YAHYA?
Oui, yeah.
Okay, good. Donc تحياتي يحيى.
شكرا أستاذي.
أهلا. Donc no problem without sharing the presentation or the comments of Dr. Omar. I will follow what he inserts in the paper. So in the introduction, there is one sentence in which you say this suggests that there are other key factors to consider in selecting an Islamic bank as opposite to a conventional one. So he comments that this needs to be elaborated more to show the context of Islamic banking. That means this sentence, maybe it's like that on fly, on the air. It should be more elaborated to show the context of Islamic banking in comparison with conventional banking. So that's in the introduction. For the reference, you mentioned Rashid and Hassan, 2009. So Dr. الكافي, he put question marks about this literature, Rashid and Hassan, if really exists. For the bank selection criteria, always in introduction, the bank selection criteria that can affect customer satisfaction. So he said that you need to specify if this is related to conventional banking. When we say banking selection criteria, it's concerning conventional banking or conventional and Islamic in same time. Okay, always an introduction. When you said we categorized these studies in the medium, low, and high importance, though he said it's better to put it in the table format. But I think these comments you already, maybe after in the paper, you mentioned the table format. It's okay. Of course, there is some spelling about the words organization inside your paper that he corrects directly with the red color. So maybe we will send it later with the observation. Okay. So after the table that you have in the paper, you said, in fact, staff knowledge of Islamic finance. So when we say staff knowledge, you should specify if this staff concerned the banks. So he mentioned of banks question mark, staff of which institution. So it's better to specify it's staff or staff of the bank. Okay. So after, in the following paragraph after the table, second paragraph, you say that in our contest we use Kano's model as a customer driven and so on. So maybe he asked you why you choose the Kano's model as customer driving tool for attaining the aforementioned objectives. So you need to justify maybe this choice. Okay. So now what's question 2 that concern the model. So after the graphic, you mention 3 points: must be quality, one-dimensional needs, and attractive needs. So he said, what about other aspects? maybe in your presentation, I already see that you include 5 aspects.
Yeah,
But in the paper, it was same for each one, same thing that I realized. So you should to include the 2 other aspects. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I will move always with comments of Dr. الكافي. So there is the constant spelling particular product. There is 2 between particular and product. So I mean, that means what? Donc, okay. After the second table in which you insert the functional and the dysfunctional Q, A, I, R, M, Q, and so on. So in explanation, in order to determine Kano categories A, O, M, and so on, he demand if that you need to elaborate more on this. Maybe it's very short when you explain the triangle, for example, AOM and so on. And sometimes maybe in the paper it's like 0 or O. We are confused if it should be maybe O and not 0.
Okay.
Okay, the results. Now I am in the results. Maybe income. So for the income criteria, the currency. It's better to include the currency that not mean Moroccan dirham, so it's better to make okay, the currencies. And the intention to be an Islamic bank customer. So I think he make an important remark here. Does it mean that simple is constituted of non-Islamic bank customers? When you ask about the intention to be an Islamic customer, that means simple and targets are non-Islamic bank customers already. So we exclude the customer of Islamic banks. That is it.
Yeah.
So maybe it should be to be more explicit.
Yeah.
Okay. Other comments after this table regarding targets. 16, 17. Maybe you refer to some number 14, 11, 2, 4. Normally, he said, I think same thing. You should mention that this corresponds to the criteria mentioned that you mentioned in table 1, because otherwise the reader is lost. When you come after this table and you see 16, 17, and you already mentioned that in table 1, donc you should make this correlation between what you said here and from where this number are driven. Okay. There is some structure, sentence structure maybe need to be more clarified. For example, whether the R must be consideration for. So there is question mark here. Same. Okay. In the paper, donc I think that is when I will talk about my remarks. It should be updated maybe, because we see here table 5, figure 3, table 4. But in the paper, we don't have this table. Table 6, figure 4. There is only 2 tables and 1 figure in your paper.
It's a mistake.
Huh?
I forgot to add them. I already added to the presentation, but I forgot to add them to my script.
Okay. Otherwise, yeah, we see some results explanation and we don't have illustration about it. Okay. Same thing, taking table 460 figure that to be inserted after. So that I think that's all. There is some correction, word correction. Anyway, you will receive these remarks for Dr. Kevin. Okay, now if Dr. Taqiyot allow me, maybe I took much time in that. I will present my remarks now. Okay, Dr. Taqiyot?
تفضل ماشي مشكل تفضل الله يودي مرحبا.
Okay. Donc, Mr. YAHYA, I think that it's very important topics, first of all. for the methodology and the area of research. But in the paper, I think the committee already sent the templates that you should follow. I think in the presentation you already respect that. But in the paper, we find the objective importance of studies, problem statements, not explicited in your paper. So maybe for the introduction, you should mention the objectives of this research paper 1, 2, 3, why its importance, and same for problem statement. And I think also that the research maybe needed to, for example, some hypotheses to be driven. We have customer preferences. We have some criteria about bank classification related classification. So maybe you can elaborate 2-3 hypotheses easily. And especially for the problem statement with question, if you have, I think you should insert them. Other thing, when you say bank-related factors and customer-related factors, so maybe as you do for the rest of explanation for the categories, you should give a short definition, one line. Bank-related factors means, for example, or because when we first time we read bank-related factors, what that means, customer-related factors, what that means, and you should, of course, you did choose that you will use the bank-related factors. Now there is some words that need to be corrected. I will send it also, and in the paper. Okay, I will move to the paper to tell you where exactly. Okay, always in introduction, when you want to categorize the studies in terms of high, medium, and low literature coverage, I think you should give a different phrase, because what you will categorize, not studies, but the factors that affect customer choice. When we say bank reputation, general facilities, number of branches, staff behaviors, and so on, so they are factors that you did categorize and not studies. When you read we read the sentence, we categorize the studies, not studies that are categorized, but the factors, the bank-related factors that you did categorized. Okay. Donc for this categorization, how low, high, and medium, they are not clear in the classification. In the high importance bank, Islamic bank attribute, small number consider high Islamic bank to be high importance. So where we can find the low importance or the medium? When you say categorize low, high, medium, donc low importance 1, 2, 3, medium 1, 2, 3, and high importance 1, 2, 3. And I prefer for the bank obedience, it's better to use the term bank compliance or adhesion to the Islamic banking principles. Donc obedience is not used in the general culture of Islamic banking. Okay. There is the use, for example, in the table for particular appearance personnel. Personnel in English, it's when we say the personnel or public, for example. But when we say about the bank staff, you use the term staff or employee. It's okay. So the personnel. Okay. For the formula in the paper, it's inserted in the paragraph. It should be separated in new paragraph. And the one other things, DDI or DII, SSI or SII. Sometimes you used in the paper decreasing decrement index or decreasing increment index. Same for unique. You should harmonize. I think that the correct is SII, the index. I am talking about the index scoring. So either SII, I think the correct one is SII and DDI, but sometimes you use other, you should to make attention about that. Okay, now correcting regarding the data collection. I don't know. When I see the age, so your target is young people, 30, small than 30, 65, between 30 and 40, 28. So we talk here about 90%. The category of the age, they are young people. I personally, I would prefer to have, for example, more than 40 years old, because it's like we have the opinions of one category concentrated between 30 and 40. So I put here one question about the simple representation for the studies, and it's this remark is confirmed by the status, the are single, 63%. Pure sample are single. That means they are young. So we don't know if their point of view can be generalized, or if we can take other categories, married and more than 40, it can be different. In contrast, education and gender, okay. So they are okay, female, education, high studies, no problem about that. Same thing for intention. Okay, when you ask about having accounts, you said Moroccan bank, with a Moroccan bank. So we are. You want to know about Islamic attributes, preference, and so on. So I think we can expect a question about having account with participative bank. So I think this answer can help, maybe. Donc must be okay. Entry of Kano. Sometimes in paper, okay, you mention in the results or the Kano models must be one-dimensional quality only, and 3 categories not mentioned in the explanation. So after you say there's with 4 attributes, donc you don't. You were talking only about 2 attributes, and after you mentioned that 4 attributes. So I think it should be concluded. Finally, maybe you say that we note as well that provision of profits and loss sharing contract is an attribute that can be practiced by conventional banks. I think you note how you note that. That the conventional bank can give profits and loss sharing contracts. We mean participation, partnership, mudaraba, musharaka. So how conventional banks can give this contract if they really can give provision of profits and loss sharing contract? So you should give example. If you are talking about capital risk, if you are talking about if really conventional bank enter into project where they can lose. So I think it's that's distinguish the Islamic or participative banks. This is the final, I think, results that you mentioned. Okay, that's shortly. Maybe I will we will send observation later to YAHYA. Very good luck, and inshallah the paper will be updated, reviewed again in the peer review. Maybe it can be published later. شكرا لكم. شكرا دكتور تقيوت، الله يوفقك.
شكرا استاذ عادل الزرفي. دونك مجهوداته لبداء ملاحظات في الصميم وبدون شك سترفع من جودة البحث. سي حنين، هل من تعقيب على هذه الملاحظات؟ هل من تعقيبات؟
I agree with Dr. Adil Zarifi. I miss a lot of things. I forgot to answer many tables in the last paragraph to make things clear. Also about sample, we we make a survey and we share it on the internet. We have people that react to our survey. 246. There is 46 female and 54 male, and the age is between. I think only the younger people are interested in our survey. Did you hear me?
Yes. You should mention that this opinion concern the young people. We don't have middle age and more than 40.
No, the survey is on the internet. The survey, we shared the survey on the internet, okay. But only young people that will react with us. We will try to attract more people here. And
for
many
that,
ages.
About your data collection, you should give these details. That survey was via the internet, Google form, or directly between July, for example, and September. So young people who respond to make the cadrage of your research. That is it.
Thank you,
okay.
Dr. Adil.
اوكي دونك نتابعوا النقاش، والكلمه الاستاذ عادل الفقير بناء على الملاحظات ديال الدكتور الكافي والدكتور الزرفي عفوا. هل من تعقيبات او من توضيح؟ تفضل الاستاذ.
Okay, thank you Professor تقيوت, and thank you Dr. Adil Zraifi, and thank you Dr. Omar الكافي for the comments that have been presented on behalf of him, I think. My first remark is we have a very similar topic that we are also having under consideration for publication, which is under Kano as well, and I'm doing that with Dr. Al-Marani and in collaboration with Dr. Taqiyot as well. So it's pretty much similar domain that we're referring to. My questions will be around reiterating some of the comments that have been stated before. And one of them is the spelling and the proofreading. So there must be a spelling and proofreading done immediately to the paper, so that it is in a very good publishable shape. I also noticed, so I'm not going to be redundant here, that there are some of the tables that needs to be inserted into the report. So that is again very important to consider. Now, I've noticed in the similar vein that a very high percentage of your data is from younger generation, and I was waiting for a response from you because that was the comment raised by Dr. Zraifi. What you could say in this instance is that this is probably a new finding that you have, which shows that since there is a response from younger generation, that this could also show that there is more of an interest from younger generation into Islamic banking in comparison to an older generation. So that in itself could be a finding. Of course, we cannot confirm that unless if we are making our sample a bit higher. Okay, so for example, if you make your sample higher and then you still notice the same remark, that means you are still getting the same possibly percentage of younger generation responding to your survey, then that in itself could be a new finding, okay, which could lead to Islamic banks or even conventional banks possibly targeting more younger generation than older ones, okay, and possibly doing more of a reimagination of their strategy to be geared towards younger generation, as opposed to an older one. Okay, so that in fact is a very spot on comment. And now I'm gonna go to the technical side, and maybe we can go here point by point. Did you consider when you have done the analysis of your survey to do some training test and some test set? Sorry, training set and test set in your analysis, so that you can confirm pretty much your training test on your test set?
Well, we confirmed our consistency of the questionnaire by Cronbach alpha coefficient.
Okay.
We use SPSS software to analyze the collected data.
Okay, good. So I would advise if you could do the some sort of a training test, okay, and then training set. I always confuse that. So training set, and then test that on your test set, and see what the Cronbach parameter will tell you at each training iteration. Okay, so it could be that a simulation will be needed to be done in this instance. Okay, but I think you have access to the famous agent-based simulation thingy that you can do it easily. Okay, now with regards to even reiterating on your results, have you considered doing kind of a benchmark? For example, you've done the Kano analysis, but at the same time, you could be doing some sort of like 2 simple machine learning models that could as well add more value to your analysis. So have you considered doing kind of a benchmarking? Or maybe if you haven't, that could be a possible extension.
Unfortunately, no. So we will try to add this benchmark.
Okay, so that obviously does not undermine the quality of the research. So maybe if you consider an extension, or maybe you can put it in your conclusion that the results from the Kano analysis could be benchmarked with possibly different machine learning models to basically emphasize the results you have got. And guess what? Maybe you will find possibly machine learning models giving you better results, or maybe the Kano analysis is giving you actually a better result. Okay, so that's okay. I think for now this seems to be fine. Yeah, I mean for the robustness techniques, other than the Cronbach parameter, have you considered other robustness techniques as well to consider for your analysis, or is it the only parameter?
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, have you considered other robustness techniques to be included as well as part of your analysis? Because to rely only on one parameter for robustness is possibly not an enough consideration. So would it be possible to add one, or would it be possible to add it as an extension again in the conclusion?
I guess we only rely on one parameters,
Okay.
Cronbach. So we will make an extension of this paper, and we add all the commands.
Okay.
You said.
Okay. Okay. So I think this sounds fine by me. Of course, as we said, it would be great to share ideas as well in the future. And since we are embarking in the same boat of the Kano analysis, then yeah, we could be as well elaborating more on an extension on that in the future. But well done, and thank you, YAHYA. And
Thank
thank
you.
you, Professor
Thank you.
Taqiyot, and thank you, Professor Adil, for your all contributions.
شكرا أستاذ عادل.
Yeah.
الأستاذ عادل من وجده، هل من تعقيب وملاحظة على تعقيب دكتور عادل الفقير؟
No, mashallah, Dr. Adil, he shows that he has, mashallah, technical background in this field of studies. He talked about techniques and if he can make benchmark. Donc, maybe I know more about the conceptual things. For that, I didn't give much comments regarding, for example, index and how it is elaborated. But I don't know. For this result, personally, I am surprised that some criteria included by the YAHYA in the bank selection determined by the customer, but this criteria or the attribute doesn't affect their degree of satisfactions. So I don't know how we can explain that. We have like dilemma here. If you can read the last sentence that you do in your presentation to consider other factors in same way that conventional banks do. Can you repeat this sentence, please?
Okay.
Funding shows that
our findings show that Islamic bank attributes are required by customers in selecting an Islamic bank as opposite to a conventional bank. However, this findings show that Islamic attribute in Islamic bank selection does not give Islamic banks an edge when it's coming to a customer's bank selection. This means that to improve customer attractiveness, Islamic banks need to consider the other factors in the same way that conventional banks do. I will share
I don't know if you share with me same idea. If we are like this result where I don't know, it should be tested, you know, this attribute required by the customer, but they don't give edge or advantage to the Islamic banks. This is the sentence. So the Islamic banks need to consider other factors like the conventional bank, because it's like you say they don't have competitive advantage in this attribute.
Yeah, this is what Kano's model tell. They tell you which attribute to improve and to delete or.
Okay. I am just saying my opinion about the result in general. This is maybe part of your studies. That is it. You need to maybe you need to give or you have other chapters, other content, other sections to include to explain these things, right? Or that's resume all your thesis. That means it is apart from your thesis. This is what you represent here as a paper, or it's resumed the entire thesis, your research.
It's a collaborative work. It's my work exactly is not in this area. It's socially responsible portfolio selection. This is my topic.
Okay, so it's partial. It's apart from a whole study that maybe need to be completed to explain. Okay. Good luck. I don't have other comments to add. Maybe I will send one.
اوكي، شكرا استاذ عادل. نتابع النقاش، والكلمه الاستاذ دكتور يوسف العمراني اللي هو حتى هو خريج من المختبر. فليتفضل.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I would like to thank our professor تقيوت, our two professor عادل, donc عادل الفقير, عادل الزرفي. I congratulate also I congratulate YAHYA for the quality of his work, his presentation. Actually, after the comments of our professor, I don't have exactly other comments to add. I encourage YAHYA to take into consideration all the remarks. And
Of course.
Congratulations again. No. Thank you very much. That's it. No, the work is very interesting. I think it's very interesting. I work, as Mr. Adil said, we work on the same topic, and I think also there are a lot of things to do in the future. We are trying to extend the model to include artificial intelligence. Maybe we are going to use fuzzy Kano or extension of fuzzy Kano model to take into consideration the uncertainty of the respondent opinion. So good luck, YAHYA. I hope we can do something interesting in the future, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
من جهتي عندي واحد juste une petite remarque si vous permettez, c'est comment introduire les nouvelles technologies dans l'appréciation du client, c'est-à-dire à travers les réseaux sociaux, par exemple une technique sentiment analysis. Ok, en analysant donc l'historique du client, on peut voir, individualiser carrément. Ce n'est plus une étude statistique, mais individualiser une fois l'individu قدام كتعرف l'historique ديالو, et on peut même personnaliser. Ça, c'est très très intéressant comme étude si on veut aller plus loin.
Yeah.
Voilà, s'il y a des commentaires à cette idée, donc allez-y. Adil, c'était donc Zerfi, c'était un grand plaisir de vous découvrir, ok. Et on peut, bon, si c'est possible, on peut même vous inviter à la soutenance d'elle. Donc c'est
Inch'Allah. C'est un plaisir pour moi. Just okay, one last comment, because I did work and made many research regarding microfinance. So I would like maybe like this model, okay, if the results verified and some tests regarding it can be applied also for microfinance institution, and we can see if we can collect ou bien we can have same results or different results between microfinance and Islamic microfinance. And also maybe it can be applied for takaful. We have insurance, okay, and Islamic insurance takaful. So if we can take same criteria, for example, these categories about the staff appearance, facilities, competitive interest, and so on, and we see if we can have same fundings and the results are different. So it can confirm, and either maybe in the financial or capital market investors there, maybe it can, if we take the ecosystem of Islamic finance as a whole, and we find same results, so they can be confirmed by these studies, inshallah, as further studies in future.
Inshallah.
اوكي، شكرا. نظن وصلنا الى النهايه. شكرا للجميع والى فرصه أخرى إن شاء الله بحول الله وقوته. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله. على تواصل إن شاء الله. مع السلامة.
Thank you all.
توفيق يحيى.
شكرا.
Good luck.
شكرا.
Good luck.
شكرا.